This is our third group of plants. I hope that you've taken the time to look around your house or your school to see if you can identify some of the plants we've talked about in the previous two groups, and hopefully we'll add some more to your knowledge bank in this lesson. So our first plant is Russian olive, scientific name Elaeagnus angustifolia, and it's in the oleaster family. It is an angiosperm. It has alternate leaf arrangement, which hopefully is pretty clear here, and it is simple pinnate. Angustifolia means narrow-leaved, so it's a very long, thin, kind of stretched out leaf. It is a trash tree. It grows almost anywhere. It's aggressive and weedy, and it will take over other plants if you let it. So it's not necessarily a tree you want to plant in your yard. It does have a silvery underside of the leaf, so it is kind of a pretty color of a tree, but it is a weedy species. The next one is the sandbar willow, Salix exigua, in the willow family. It is an angiosperm, and it has alternate leaf arrangement, and it is simple pinnate. Exigua means small, and that refers to the size of the tree or shrub. So they kind of grow together in clusters, and it doesn't get very big. Members of the willow family have the ability to make new plants from their roots, so they shoot out new trees from their roots. So if you planted this in your yard, you would get sandbar willow everywhere. Same with quaking aspens, same with any willow tree you plant. They'll get little offshoots, and so they can really overtake your yard if you're not careful to pull out the little trees that will spring up in your yard. Purple leaf flowering plum is Prunus cerasifera. It's in the rose family. It's an angiosperm. It has alternate leaf arrangement, which you can see here, and it is simple pinnate. It has purple leaves, so it's one of the few purple leaf plants we have in our group of plants, and it gets pretty pink flowers in the spring. So people plant it because it's pretty in the spring, and in the summer it's different than a green tree. It is a small tree with dark purplish bark. It doesn't get very big, and it's a nice ornamental tree. The next tree is the tulip tree, and the scientific name is Liriodendron tulipifera. It's in the magnolia family, and it's an angiosperm. It has alternate leaf arrangement, which you can see here, one leaf per node, and it is simple pinnate. It does have a unique leaf. It's kind of either tulip-shaped, or I've heard students call this cat-shaped. So they call it the Garfield tree or the cat tree. It does become a very large tree, and tulipifera means it bears tulip-looking flowers in the spring. They're really pretty. It's a really pretty tree. It's just really big, so you've got to have a lot of room if you want to plant it. Crabapple is our next tree. The scientific name here is Malus species, and the reason I wrote species here, that's what the SPP stands for, is there are lots of different species of crabapple, but they are all really showy in the spring. Beautiful flowers. That's why people plant crabapples, is because they're pretty in the spring. And so if you see a crabapple, they pretty much all have identical leaves, and they all flower in the spring, and they all produce these little crab apples, but they could be different species based on flower color or kind of branching habit or leaf color. So here we just put Malus species. It's in the rose family, so it's an angiosperm. It has alternate leaf arrangement, so one leaf per node, and it is simple pinnate. Again, it has very showy flowers in the spring. They can be in a variety of colors. This one's bright pink. I've seen white. I've seen light pink. It does bear crab apples in the summer and fall, and some people actually harvest them and make like jam out of them. And leaves may be green or purple depending on the species. It's generally a very small tree, but very showy in the spring. The next tree is the London plane tree. Its scientific name is Platanus acerifolia, and it's in the sycamore family. It's an angiosperm, and it has alternate leaf arrangement. So you can see that down here, one leaf per node. It is simple palmate, so 3 main veins here. And acerifolia means it looks like a maple leaf, which it kind of does. It looks like a Norway maple leaf. But there are a couple main differences with this and a maple tree. This one has a fuzzy underside. so you can feel the fuzz underneath this leaf. Maple trees don't have that. And sycamores, this London plane tree, produces spiky ball seeds, and they fall down and can spread all over the place, where a maple tree has those helicopters, so you can tell the difference of the fruit as well. These London plane trees get really, really big. They're good shade trees for large areas, but not good if you have a small yard. The next plant is mugo pine, scientific name Pinus mugo. It's in the pine family. It's a gymnosperm. It is a small shrub. I've seen trees before, but generally it's kept pruned as a small shrub. Its needles are in bundles of 2, and they're generally about 1 inch to 1.5 inches in length. The next tree is box elder maple, scientific name Acer negundo, in the maple family. It's an angiosperm. It has opposite leaf arrangement. You can see that here. This little leaf has died, so it's not, but that is an opposite leaf arrangement there. It is compound pinnate because it's got one main vein with little leaflets branching off. This is native to Utah, so it grows really well in our harsh conditions. The male and female trees are separate, which is kind of interesting for a plant. Females bear a lot of V-shaped helicopters. And so if you want to plant one in your yard, you generally want a male because the females can be really pesky with all their helicopters that they bear. The next plant is another native to Utah. It's staghorn sumac, scientific name Rhus typhina. It's in the cashew family, and it's an angiosperm. It has alternate leaf arrangement. You can see that down here, 1 leaf per node, and it is compound pinnate. So this is 1 leaf here, divided into leaflets. It does have fuzzy leaves, and that's what typhina means. It means kind of fuzzy. And it turns bright red in the fall. It's really, really pretty in the fall. It gives some really nice color. And it is a small tree or a large shrub. I've seen them get maybe 12 feet tall, but it is kind of a smaller tree and native to Utah, so it does well here and really, really pretty red in the fall. The next plant is big sagebrush, scientific name Artemisia tridentata. It's in the aster family, so same family as the rabbit brush we learned about last lesson. It's an angiosperm. It has alternate leaf arrangement. You can see that here, and it is a simple pinnate leaf. That's kind of difficult to tell here. Tridentata means 3-toothed and refers to the 3 lobes at the end of the leaf. It has silvery green leaves. It can get to be a pretty big shrub. It's native to Utah. You'll find it in disturbed areas or areas where not a lot of things grow, silvery in color. And that is the end of group 3.